Satellite images just reveal just how much cities on the east coast of the United States are sinking. Continuous unmitigated subsidence on the east coast of the United States should cause concern. And on the right, we have a map of vertical land motion on the east coast, and the left, primary, secondary, and interstate roads on Hampton Roads, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach, Virginia, with red and yellow indicating areas of sinking, which is most of them. Now, images collected by numerous satellites have shown that major cities and population centers across the U.S. East Coast are sinking. Land sinking or subsidence, as seen by these satellites, is dangerous because it can undermine the foundations of buildings, and we're talking about cities with high-rise buildings, of course, potentially causing collapse of these buildings. It can also damage roads as well as gas and water lines. And when coupled with rising sea levels caused by human-driven climate change, subsidence in coastal regions can increase the risk of flooding and worsen subsequent damage. Among particular hard-hit areas are New York City, Long Island, Baltimore, Virginia Beach, and Norfolk, which are experiencing areas of rapid subsidence next to slower sinking regions and even stable patches of land. And this poses a risk to infrastructure like roads, building foundations, pipelines, rail lines, and even airport runways. The new research from Virginia Tech and the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, shows that some areas of the U.S. East Coast are sinking as rapidly as 5 millimeters, that's 0.2 inches every single year, a rate of subsidence at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean that outstrips global sea level rise. Continuous unmitigated subsidence in the U.S. East Coast should cause concern, said Leonard Ohenhen, a research lead author and graduate student at the Virginia Tech Earth Observation and Innovation Lab. He said this is particularly in areas with high populations and property density and a historical complacency towards infrastructure maintenance. That sinking feeling, together with Virginia Tech Earth Observation and Innovation Lab Associate Professor Manu Chair Sirzai, Ohenhen and colleagues collected a huge amount of data from space-based radar satellites to build digital maps of the terrain. They then measured millions of subsidence occurrences over many years, followed up by constructing some of the first ever high-resolution images of sinking land. The team's maps show that a large number of U.S. East Coast areas sinking by at least 2 millimeters at 0.08 inches per year. Additionally, the scientists found areas along the mid-Atlantic coast amounting to over 1,400 square miles that are sinking by 5 millimeters, that's 0.2 inches per year or more. The current rate of global sea level rise, which is around 4 millimeters or 0.16 inches per year. They said we measured subsidence rates of 2 millimeters per year affecting more than 2 million people and 800,000 properties on the East Coast, Shirzai said. We know that to some extent that the land is sinking. Through this study, we highlight the sinking of the land is not an intangible threat. It affects you and I and everyone. It may be gradual, but the impacts are real. Ohenhen pointed out that the problem with the subsidence map is not just the land sinking, but also that hotspots of subsidence are occurring in population hubs and around concentrations of infrastructure. For example, significant areas of critical infrastructure in New York, including JFK Airport and LaGuardia airports and its runways, along with the railway systems, are affected by subsidence rates over 2 millimeters per year, he said. The effects of these right now, well, we know JFK is built in a bird estuary, and LaGuardia is right on the coast, very low-lying areas. So now the effects of these right now and into the future are potential damage to infrastructure and increased flood risks. This information is needed. No one else is providing it. USGS researcher, geologist, and study co-author Patrick Bernard said in a statement. Shirzai and his Virginia Tech team stepped into that niche with his technical expertise and are providing something extremely valuable. The team's research was published on Tuesday, January 2nd in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and this was originally posted on space.com. It's on Live Science. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. This is by Robert Lee. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.